Hey adventurers, welcome to the crew. I'm Sealord Agenda, and this is my Let's Play of Pillars of Eternity. In the last episode, we wrapped up a bunch of side and companion quests, and now we are headed to start White March 2. We've got all the White March companions in the party, plus our basic guys, and we are going to see what's going on up here. We had a horrible vision of, I'm gonna go standard still. We had a horrible vision of the apocalypse last time, as I recall, right after we finished White March 1. Giant stone army or something attacking us, so hopefully that's not gonna be a problem.
While we wait, the enemy grows stronger.
Oh. And you'd send more of us to die.
Well, I'm not gonna stand around. Are you?
You've done plenty, Darian.
You approach the source of the commotion and see a throng of villagers. They're arguing amongst themselves and hurling questions and demands at a lone figure perched above them. A young man stands on a spur of rock, his clenched fist held aloft. Steam rises from his wild hair and flushed face as he shouts to the gathering.
Been a week since our people left these gates. A week since the iron flail took them.
He paces the outcropping, his eyes burning. You see a few scattered nods in the crowd.
Yet we wait here behind our sturdy new walls, hiding in our rebuilt homes. We've done nothing.
He brings his fist into his palm with a sharp smack. The crowd erupts, bristling with pointed fingers and pointed words. One woman steps forward, her eyes lock on the young man.
Who are you to tell us how to defend our own? You ain't been here 2 months!
Several of the others grunt and hoot. You feel a shift in the crowd like a changing tide.
Hey, an angry mob. See? We're not so far from home.
He's right.
And since I got here, I've been working alongside the rest of you. Don't start with that again.
A handful of others nod along with him. They cringe and flinch as another villager joins the fray, shaking his finger at the young orator.
Well, it was your idea to send our people to that damned fort in the first place. If it weren't for you and the other leeches that come up with you, we wouldn't be in this mess.
The new accuser raises a chorus of furious cries. Darian raises his hands for calm, but the crowd's wrath is snowballing. But hold on, everybody. No need for murder. A dozen heads turn in your direction. The villagers recognize you and their eyes widen with hope and reverence. Is this about that fort near the battery? He nods.
It's a small army from Raid Saris. They call themselves the Iron Flail.
Darian's mention of the name and the rest of the crowd falls silent. The words trigger a sudden flashback to your dream of the mysterious army and the destruction of Katnua. As the image fades, you see once more the vision of 100 eyes watching you, and something just beyond.
Showed up a few weeks after you opened the battery. Demanded we give him the White Forge.
He avoids your gaze, scraping his boot against a rock.
They're led by a Darek Sendamir. Comes from an old Raid Saren family. The rumor has it the man's half mad with visions. Claims one drove him here to take the White Forge.
In Zawa's experience, if one is only half mad with visions, the dose was too low.
Oh, Zawa.
They're not the only bloodsuckers around here.
The villager glares up at Darian, but most of his fellows are ignoring him by now. Darian raises his voice above the ruckus.
Our crew at the battery locked their doors and told the Iron Flail to go back to Raid Saris.
Fair.
Instead, they built a fort in the middle of the wood.
I see.
So we sent a committee to reason with them. But that was a week ago. We haven't seen our people since.
A low rumble ripples through the crowd. Darian hesitates.
That can only mean one thing.
He grimaces as the frightened, arguing crowd drowns him out once more. Well, you know what? He's right. You gotta defend what's yours. Well, screw sharing.
We're just miners and fisher folk.
Panic surges from the crowd.
Send Darian and the rest of the newcomers. Let them earn their keep.
We've cleared your roads and repaired this town. What more do we have to prove?
Cries of agreement and protest boil up from the crowd.
Maybe we could nudge them into torching their own village.
I do not think that would be hard, yeah.
Please, everyone!
In the fragile silence that follows, the others turn and look at Darian.
Whatever our difference is, we've got to deal with the army at our gates.
He looks back to you.
You've done a lot for Stalwart already. Many of us wouldn't even be here if it wasn't for you.
He breaks off, looking as if he'd like to stuff his words back into his mouth. After an uneasy pause, he swallows and continues.
What I mean is, if anyone could deal with an army, it's you.
Well, I've got my own business with this army, as it turns
The
out.
Iron Flail cleared a patch of forest north of Durgan's battery, built their fort there. It'll be well guarded, so if you can get in without raising an alarm, you may have an easier time of it. The important thing is to deal with the commander. If you can get rid of him, the rest of the soldiers will scatter.
Noted.
Anyway, we've got our work cut out for us here.
He gives the crowd a purposeful look. Grumbling, they start to disperse.
While you're out, stop by the battery. Wangra and her team are still repairing the heavy cannons. They've made a lot of progress elsewhere. Thought you might like to see how far it's come.
He shrugs. I'm not actually sure this is the army I dreamed about. I mean, maybe. Obviously, they're plot relevant, but I find it hard. I mean, this sounds like a textbook case of opportunistic, vultures descending now that all of a sudden there's money here. Doesn't seem like they'd be likely to make it all the way to Cadnua, way into the Deerwood proper, but, I mean, I don't see how they'd have that kind of force, but, okay.
Haven't been here long, but, I'll tell you what I can.
Yeah, so what's the deal with the Iron Flail?
They heard about the White Forge and came running. Just like a lot of us did.
Yeah, exactly.
Only difference is, they brought siege weapons.
Sure.
As best anyone can tell, they're from the border region near Little Bend, one of the poorest parts of the country. For Raid Saris, well, that's saying something.
And what brought you to Stalwart?
Work. I was a cobbler in New Yarma, but the city got more crowded every year. Rural types fleeing the legacy. A couple months ago, I heard Stalwart was offering land and opportunity to new settlers, so figured I'd give it a go out here.
Makes
For a
sense.
while, folks seemed glad to have some new blood. But that changed as more and more of us came.
I see they've got an immigration crisis. Seems to be a lot of tension around town.
Before you opened Durgan's battery, people tell me Stalwart barely had enough warm bodies to keep the town running. A bunch of us came when we heard about the White Forge. But now, I think the old-timers would just as soon send us back.
Begins ticking items off on his fingers. Yeah, they got real used to being a really rural little town with nobody ever visiting, and forgot that prosperity would bring a whole bunch of people.
We take the best jobs, we don't pay our respects to Andra, we're overcrowding the town.
He shakes his head.
I get it. Stalwart's changing. Same thing happened in New Yarma when folk moved in from the countryside. But they can't keep blaming us for everything that goes wrong out here.
He sighs, and a steaming cloud escapes his lips.
I'm just hoping they'll calm down once the Iron Flail is gone.
Alright, that's all. Okay. See, I mean, the Iron Flail are obviously a problem to deal with, but I don't feel like they're a mythical sort of thing like we dreamed about. But, buddy, if you're like years behind here, yes, obviously it's been opened. There's a whole... The town has changed radically because of it. Alright. You got anything better for sale now? I think maybe you do. Probably not going to buy any of it right now, but... A lot of potions. Camping supplies. Is my max out on camping supplies? Let me grab these. I feel like I'm a little short on those kind of things. Okay. The place hasn't changed fundamentally, except that's new. And yeah, because that was on fire before. They've rebuilt it. And that's a Temple of Abaddon now. It was a Temple of Andra before. Alright, well, let's run around and see what else is new. Did we get a new map region or something? Oh yes, Iron Flail Fort. Well, you know what? That's new too. So that's 2 new map regions. Okay. Meat. I mean, we've talked to this guy, we did a quest for him and all. Probably nothing new with him, but let's just have a chat. They came to tell me about the battery. Now you've gone ahead and done the impossible. You have my respect. That fortress has been haunting us for ages. A shared dream nobody could get their hands on. Maybe this with a kick in the rear that Stalwart needs. Okay, yeah, he's got nothing.
Welcome.
Yeah.
What?
Alright, moving on. So the actual quest is to go to the Iron Flail Fort and check that out. But let's see around town first, yeah. Hot springs, those haven't changed.
You really did it. I mean, people have always come through here, talking about opening the battery, claiming the White Forge, all that. But I didn't think anyone would ever really manage it. I told Renegild I'd be willing to help with getting the mines back in order. You know, do my part. Figure we can turn this place around, now that you've laid the foundation.
Sure. Hopefully. The village hasn't really grown yet, which is probably part of the problem. Housing crisis. Ah, okay, yes. Tildor. I have this baby Lagafaith that came out of your thermal pearl. The little creature sticks its head out of your pack and looks at Tildor with bulging blue eyes. His jaw flaps silently for a few seconds. I've never seen one so small. The little fellow looks downright tame. He scratches his head. How about I buy it from you? The performers that pass through would take an interest in something like this. He bends down to look at the squirming Lagafaith. No, I'm keeping him. Ader doesn't want me to do it. Whatever you say. Just watch your fingers when he gets big. Still looking for someone to take care of those dangerous folk roaming the area, if you're up to it. Yeah, oh, he gave out the bounties, too. As well as asking me to find him a thermal pearl that turned out to be a Lagafaith egg. Which I have to keep, because Ader will be mad if I don't. Hi, Bard. Why are you barely injured, Mr. Villager? Okay, doesn't look like anything's really changed in here.
It's you. I'm so glad you came by. I hoped I'd have the chance to thank you properly. They told me what happened. God's bless you, sir. I owe you my life. I know it was foolish of me to run in there. But this ring is all that I have of my family.
Where did we meet this person? Ring. Is this the person I pulled out of a chasm? I thought that was a guy. I don't remember.
Oh, I'm
How are you
managing.
holding up?
Fenway's letting me stay with her until I'm back on my feet. Everyone's been lovely, really. It was hard seeing what's left of the house.
Oh.
But Rayvald says he's going to see a hut raised for me soon as they get the logs.
This was the person we pulled out of a burning house. Gotcha. What's so special about the ring?
Sentiment, mostly. When he first settled here, my grandfather had a ring fashioned from the first batch of ore he excavated. It was supposed to commemorate his fresh start. He passed it on to his daughter, and my mother gave it to me in turn.
Alright. You guys just... Oh. Turns out New Hayamar's a bit of a piss heap. Well, that and Stalwart turned out to not be so bad after a while. You know, armies scuffling over the battery aside. Still playing games? Oh yeah, you get to enjoying the simple things up here. Yeah, we don't have the dexterity to be any good at the knife game, but they're still just doing that.
Please, someone has to do something.
Alright, calm down.
Piss
Kern.
off, Kern. I got enough problems.
What's up with you, Kern? Efrag, how's the deal? So you really found the White Forge, huh? He shakes his head in wonder. Hardly believed it at first, but I've never seen Renengild so giddy about anything. He cracks a crooked grin.
Here, drinks on me. We should see a boost in business with the battery open. Makes for a brighter future than we had yesterday, for sure.
Fantastic. How about you, Nesta? Ugh, thought I ordered ale. She might have brought me the dishwater by accident. She sighs. Or maybe on purpose, you can never tell. Brings you to Stalwart. I represent a group of investors from Defiance Bay who are attempting to establish a trade agreement with Stalwart. Before they're willing to commit to any agreement, they want to have the town assessed to make sure it's as prosperous as people are claiming. That's where I come in. And what's your assessment? There's certainly a lot of coin changing hands, but whether this is simply a short-lived boom or something that will persist long-term remains to be seen. That's fair enough. Oh, Kern? Decades I've lived here. We've worked and drunk together, and not a one of them will lift a finger. This dwarf's face is damp and blotchy. His outburst seems to take something out of him. He sags, his lined features showing his exhaustion. I'm sorry, I have no heart for conversation. I'm sure someone in here will drink to your health. What happened? I've done something terrible, and I'm not sure I can fix things. This neighbor of mine, Hattie, we've never gotten on at the best of times. This land dispute, losing half of my property, things have gotten out of hand. Go on. I was drowning my sorrows here in the inn. There was a stranger, Sevestin, obviously from out of town. We got to talking. He's all smiles. Says he's a paladin that'll sort Hattie out for me, get my land back if I give him the week's wages. I didn't know he was a bleak walker. A madman. I was half drunk, thought Sevestin meant he'd speak on my behalf, put a scare into Hattie, not kill him. So you got lucky. I tried to call him off once I realized. He laughed, said that doesn't happen. Please, you gotta help me. Nobody else here is willing to take him on, even for the coin I'm offering. So, you accidentally hired a man to kill Hattie? Never to kill him. I was angry, drunk. Hattie's nearly ruined me. Doesn't mean I want his family dead. So, you want me to stop that maniac? Then Hattie, make sure he's safe. His family, too. Alright, I'll make sure they're safe. Thank you. You're a good man, Sea Lord. Hattie lives out east in Whitestone Hollow. Please, hurry. Oh, look, a quest that'll take us to Whitestone Hollow. Convenient, since that just appeared on the map. Anybody in here now? This is just a Weena. Well done. With any luck, we'll get some new folk and their coin in town to see the battery. It sounds like Gregor speaking, but it's getting harder to tell the two apart. I'm glad they're merging alright. Okay, so we picked up a quest in here. Looks like 2 areas. 2 new maps so far, which is not bad. Still, everybody's just gambling down here. Pile of traps over by the booze. Nothing changed. I guess the person to really talk to is Guild. That they've seen here. She is the mayor still, after all. Ooh, this house has changed, I think. Fancier now, possibly. Just laid out a little differently. Sup, Reningil? It isn't the hero of the White Forge. Reningil nods in greeting. She looks more relaxed than you've ever seen her. You come back to check on your handiwork, or are you just here to wish me a happy retirement? Oh, you retired? Why? She stretches. I've had enough of politics and town quarrels for this lifetime. So when Tarfos told me he was tired of the mines, I asked if he was ready to really get his hands dirty. She smiles. Almost feel sorry for the guy. Alright. Okay, so she's not relevant anymore. Who's Tarfos? And where do I find him? Hamon's Emporium. Tana's house. I think she was only relevant. She was relevant for plot reasons in the last, in White March 1. I don't think she'll be important now.
Got to speak up?
Yep, nothing. Okay. Alright, well, let's, yeah, been there.
I knew that Nakachoa was bad.
Let's check out this Emporium, that's new. This was definitely a burned crisp last time. Apparently the town's acquired a second store.
Would I interest you in a new blade?
Possibly. See your own reflection in these shields. This looks like Stalwart from the road to Deerwood. Cheap perfumes line the bottom shelf. These identical Abaddon figurines are all of equally poor quality. The shopkeeper's clothes seem a little nicer, if not terribly warm, compared to what you've seen around Stalwart. His hair is immaculately coiffed, and his rosy cheeks look like they've barely been touched by the mountain winds. Definitely an out-of-towner. Welcome, welcome. I've got arms and armor, all top quality. And perhaps you'd like to see potions. Always a pleasure to meet respectable company out here anyway. What you got for sale? It's a soulbound crossbow. I don't really have anybody who uses crossbows, but... Takes raw damage, fires 2 bolts. Interesting. It's got a bunch of exceptional and fine quality weapons. Rings. What's this ring do? Oh, that's not too bad. Plus resolve. Book of protection. These are pretty nice actually. Let me grab those. Don't need that much. Oh, that's potentially quite nice too. And cheap. Scrolls. Infestation of spiders. Trap. What is it? Just a jar of spiders? Various gems and monster bits and crafting things. Let me just grab those. Okay. Fantastic. Thanks, Hammond. Not a bad store. Okay, the fishery probably hasn't changed, but let's check it out. Villager. Yep, well met. We'll check the inside. Yeah, pretty sure this is all the same as before. Fair enough. To be fair, the fishery would not be the thing that's seeing boom around here right now. It's the mining that is changing. Okay, and then this temple, we killed all the priests before, and now it's a temple of Abaddon,
This is going
apparently.
to be fantastic. Just wait till they hear about this back home.
I forget, Abaddon is the smith? I think he's the smith. Oh, yes, he's definitely the smith, okay. This smooth anvil hardly looks like it's seen use. Well, it's brand new in fairness to them. They've just set up shop here.
Oh, come on! Stupid sword!
This warped breastplate is still warm from the forge. A couple of bonies and a drawing. A lightly singed piece of paper with a charcoal drawing on the front. Oh, this is a map to... Is this really supposed to be a map to some kind of treasure? Because it is incomprehensible. Mountains. Mountains. Could be trees. People. You need to get better at map drawing, Milla. I'll take it anyway. And we'll just hope to find it out in the wild somewhere. Who's Milla? There's not even a Milla here. What's your deal? Okay, now you're just pissing me off. She slams her forge hammer down on the unfinished blade with a loud clang. Straighten out, damn you! Temper, Maska. The older priest glares at Maska reproachfully. Sorry, master. It just slipped out. She takes a deep breath and releases it slowly. What's wrong with the sword? Where to begin? She gestures at the rapidly cooling lump of iron on her anvil. For one, I can't manage to shape the metal no matter how hard I try. Master Ingram says envision a sword, so I'm envisioning really, really hard. I think I'm ending up with a club. Maybe a mace if I'm lucky. But no sword. If my work doesn't improve soon, they'll kick me out of the temple. Can't be a priest if you're not a proper smith. Unless you help me. Maska glances around. I am not a blacksmith. Well, that's not the kind of help I'm asking for. I snuck a peek at Master Engram's lore books and came across a ritual that can enchant a forge hammer to boost smithing skill. That's exactly the kind of edge I need. I've already completed the first part of the ritual, crafting the hammer. Unfortunately, the next 2 parts require travel to the Deerwood, and there's no way Master Ingram will let me leave anytime soon. Isn't that, unethical? I'm not trying to show anyone up, I just want to appear competent. You know, buy myself time until I'm actually competent. Better get back to it before Master Ingram gets annoyed. Why'd you decide to become an acolyte of Abaddon? It's a family tradition, one I've managed to keep going. She glares at the unfinished sword on her anvil. Barely. Oh, alright, I'll do it, sure. That's great. She hands you a forge hammer. That hammer actually turned out alright. The first place you need to go is the Shrine of Abaddon in Crucible Keep. That's in the First Fires District in Defiance Bay. I've never been there myself. Just place the hammer at the shrine. It should get blessed or something. After that, you'll need to find the Shrine of Magron in Magron's Fork. It's not far from Defiance Bay. To the north of the city, I think. Do the same thing with the hammer at that shrine, then head back here. Okay, to be fair, if the ritual is just having it blessed by the gods who you're working for, then I guess it's not unethical under the rules of those gods, presumably. This shrine to Abaddon is smooth and shiny as if it were made recently. Well, it obviously was, yes. What's up, Ingram? Ingram nods at you and smiles in recognition. Ah, the kindler of the White Forge. We owe you a great debt for the industry and faith you've restored here. Welcome to the Temple of Abaddon. This was a temple to Andra before. He tilts his head to one side. Back when this was a dying, forgotten place. But the clerics who tended it left, as is customary of their goddess. The throngs who've since come to Stalwart sought a more practical deity. Actually, I killed them all, but yes, they are gone. What do you do here? I lead this temple and guide the acolytes in matters both spiritual and mundane. He indicates the forge and anvils. Worshippers of other gods pray or meditate. We Abaddonians venerate our god through the act of smithing. Our doors are always open and our forge always alight. How may I help? Well, that's it. I'm not going to turn her in yet. Nothing else there, so that's, that covers that. Who's this mayor? Taros, or whoever? I never see him around.
Does anyone have any extra rations? I did some white leaf, and now I'm very hungry.
Damn it, Zahawa! You can't just do a bunch of coke and then ask for the party's rations. I'm sorry, white leaf. Oh. Where's Milla? Oh god, Milla's the person we found a drawing of, too. Has she just wandered off somewhere? Well, that's not my problem, probably. Were these mines open before, or... I mean, was this a thing before? I don't remember ever going into any mines. Oh, Tarfos. Wait, where were you? Hold up. Let me just... Ah, there he is. Hello, Tarfos. Run for mayor, they said. It's an easy job, they said. I should have stayed in the mines. He notices you approach and his eyes widen. Sea Lord, what brings you back to Stalwart? You're always welcome here. Beams at you. How's Stalwart doing? Oh, we've rebuilt. The western palisades fixed. Some fancy merchant set up shop where Kitty's house used to be. He gestures at the temple. We've also got a proper temple to Abaddon again. Never understood why the Andrites stuck around Stalwart in the first place. I'm pretty busy, so unless there's something else. What was that about a negotiation? There's a group of representatives, merchants from Defiance Bay interested in a trade agreement with Stalwart. The representative Nesta's staying at the Grafe's Rest. I've been avoiding her because I have zero experience with treaties and contracts and all that. I was a miner, not a diplomat. Maybe you could talk to her on my behalf. He looks at you hopefully. As mayor, I'll give you full authority to negotiate on Stalwart's behalf. Makes you think I'd do better. Oh, you're the hero of Stalwart, the man who reclaimed the White Forge. Of course you'd do better than me. He doesn't even care if I really do better. He just doesn't want to do it. Sure, I'll talk to her. Thank you. As I said earlier, you can find her in the Grafe's Rest. Okay, well, we talked to her already, but I guess we'll talk to her again, sure. Fresh coals lie at the bottom of the smelter. I think that's an improvement. Hey, miners, what's up? Lumps of iron ore filled the cart. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this was closed before. Scattered spots of yellow powder blotch the surface of the barrels. The stench of sulfur lingers in the air. Ismi? Where's Ismi? I don't think these were open before. Let me go inside. Thanks for watching, adventurers. New parts will be up every other day, or you can watch live on Twitch. If you did enjoy the video, consider leaving a like or subscribing. Have a nice day, adventurers. This is Sea Lord Janda, signing off.